Alright, in this video we'll be further pushing them to the limits, comparing video quality from daytime to low light with all sorts of handshake and body shake. Again, we'll be telling you which phone actually took which video later on in this video, so make sure you won't be missing that out. Hey everyone, Ray here. Again, this is not a voiceover done by AI, but we'll definitely be addressing the implementation of AI features across all these four phones, which we've done a mega camera comparison last time. We have the Vivo X300 Pro, the Oppo Find X9 Pro. They're absolutely doing a really great job on the camera photography area. Now, what about AI? We're comparing those to Samsung's Galaxy AI, and that's on the iPhone. Oh, and don't forget the actual battery life in real life. The main focus of this video, however, will be video comparison, from skin tone to low light, and which phone actually took the most stable videos across these four phones. Just one more thing, now it's quite rare for a manufacturer to do this. With more than 1,000 photos I've taken with the Vivo X300 Pro, and it's counting, they've actually put a hidden menu for us to switch between 3 levels of super telephoto enhancement for, well, super telephoto enhancement. And that setting's actually hidden in a 5-step menu. So now let's just try to look at this closely one more time. Go to More Settings, Photo, and there's a Smart Optimization menu there. There you've got your super telephoto enhancement toggles. Considering the default settings actually extreme, that might actually give us the most promising photos, or does it? At 20x, you won't actually be seeing a huge difference between 3 levels of super telephoto enhancement. Now, based on my personal experience, starting from 50 to even 100 times zoom, now the difference will emerge that at the high setting you will be getting a technically sharper and clearer photo with almost no digital noise at all, while at the medium setting you will be getting some level of digital noise and some level of sharpening effect. You know, I do actually prefer the medium setting. At the end of the day, both the medium and the high settings produces sharper and more usable photos than turning everything off. Now, just like possibly most of you, I used to think 30x would be the maximum usable zoom range on a smartphone. But now, even at 50x, it's actually more usable than I've expected, even without the teleconverter. I know it's a comparison between these four phones, but just to make sure everything we will be seeing in just a moment is real, actually taken by the lens and the sensor, not generated by AI. As we can see here, even from the viewfinder, we can see what we will be taking. What about, for some reason, I'd like to check if there's anyone climbing onto that radar structure on top of a mountain, zooming all the way from here to this. And here you can compare turning everything, all the AI off, medium and at the high setting. Oh, and you're right, ultra long-range zoom isn't the only deciding factor, but just for a moment we can compare these four phones. Now, this set of photos actually taken with 50x zoom. Now, the maximum zoom range on the iPhone 17 Pro Max actually 40x. The details there on the statue isn't falling behind that much, however. Now look, at 100 times zoom, the Galaxy is actually delivering a very close similar level of details to the Vivo. So with telephoto enhancement set to high, you will be getting a generally cleaner and sharper image of the Vivo. Now, do you prefer switching that off or keeping it high or at medium? So that's a man-made structure. What about skin tone rendering and texture rendering? We've got an extensive comparison video last time, so make sure you won't be missing that out as well. But here we have 2 more extra sets of comparison photos. Now at 20 times zoom in low light with human skin tone involved. The difference between the 3 levels of telephoto enhancement is honestly marginal, but you will still be getting a generally smoother and cleaner photo out of the AI high mode. Now, in an actual concert, you may be sitting even closer than where I was sitting, or maybe even further away, but here we have a comparison between the 3 levels of enhancement levels. It seems to me that the medium settings doing a really great job in enhancing the clarity and the sharpness of the image while not overdoing the noise reduction part. just compare one more set of photos at 20x zoom, you will be getting the least feasible noise reduction and sharpening effect on the photos taken with the iPhone. And now on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, you will be getting that slight boost in color saturation and sharpening effect, as well as noise reduction as well. While here on the Vivo, images are sharper to look at with boosted contrast and color saturation, regardless which level of telephoto enhancement you're actually using. Now this could be the best photo out of the four, but that also comes with the most feasible, arguably most feasible digital processing effect. Moving on to video stabilisation, this time we'll be further pushing them to the limit, now combining optical image stabilisation with all sorts of super steady, ultra stabilisation, whatever mode. Under broad daylight, you will be getting buttery smooth videos out of the four phones, and that includes the main camera and the telephoto camera, particularly filtering out all the hand and even body movement, particularly I was walking while recording these videos. So video stabilisation during daytime, that's certainly more than just a pass across all these four phones. Now during nighttime, capturing videos of festive lights. So which phone produces the most stable videos? Well, apart from video stabilisation, we can observe that the Galaxy actually produces the brightest video out of the four. It is particularly active in bringing out the details from the shadows. Now the video taken with the iPhone might look a little bit darker compared to the other three, but that's a video taken with the spot mode on, and you will be getting a bright image out of the Vivo with boosted saturation, and at last a clean video out of the Oppo with effective noise reduction and boosted contrast and color saturation as well. Now you may be thinking, what about taking night video while walking even faster or even running? So as I was handling four phones here, so I'll just try to do my best here. This video is actually taken with a telephoto lens on the Vivo, Oppo and iPhone. Due to the Samsung Galaxy doesn't support telephoto super steady mode for digitally enhanced video stabilization. That's a 2x zoom from the main camera. Now what do you think? Video stabilization, ultra steady or maybe the spot mode on the iPhone used to be one of their strongest areas. Well, don't get me wrong, they are performing really great here, even shooting night videos with a telephoto camera. But this time around, the Vivo and the Oppo, you will be able to record night videos with direct light sources using the main camera as well as the telephoto camera, with exceptional video stabilization effect and control over the light sources, suppressing jello effect and wobbly effect. And here on the Galaxy, they are doing a solid job using the main camera doing 2x zoom, low light video recording as well. Alright, so I'll be taking a short break here so that you may compare video stabilization across all these four phones in full screen. Alright, we're back. They're genuinely doing a really great job in filtering out all the shaky effect. That the most apparent difference could be how they handle the highlights and the shadows, as well as contrast and saturation as well. What's actually worth mentioning here is that the Oppo is actually shooting ultra steady video in 4K, though I would say the stabilization effect is almost like 80 to 90% of that on the Vivo and the Galaxy, maybe even the iPhone. While here on the Vivo X300 Pro is shooting ultra-stabilized video in 2.8K. Now here on the iPhone you've got spot mode support for the ultra-wide-angle camera, the main sensor and the telephoto camera as well. And last but not least, here on the Galaxy we've got ultra-steady mode support for the ultra-wide camera sensor and the main camera here on the Galaxy. No support for the telephoto camera so far, but you can always do the 2x zoom here on the main sensor. And this is actually the Vivo X300 Pro here. You can actually see that even before exporting the video and all sorts of digital rendering afterwards. The video here shooting on the telephoto lens really stable here already. So as we all know, the iPhone is really capable in video recording, just in case if you will be taking not only photos but also video as well. And once again here we can confirm that the Galaxy, even the Vivo and the Oppo this time is doing a really great job in filtering out all the shaky effect, even on the telephoto camera. Right, so video stabilization is definitely one of the key areas that not only the hardware, but also more software and even possibly AI is involved in. And speaking of AI, we've noticed quite a few of you out there raised concerns about AI photography on the Vivo X300 Pro last time in our mega comparison. And you've guessed it right, they've actually put a hidden setting there in the setting menu as well, dedicated for this kind of night sky blue effect, that bluish tones cast to a night sky in landscape and night mode on the photos taken with the Vivo. And you know, that's turned on by default. You'll be generally getting more true to life and accurate color reproduction here on the Oppo out of the box. And in terms of image quality across daytime to low light, from skin tone to detailed preservation from the highlights to the shadows. As we've made our final verdict in our previous video, we won't be repeating that here. On the contrary, this time we've just discovered now Vivo's actually put a night sky blue on and off switch there in the smart optimization submenu where the super telephoto enhancement located in. So this is how it looks like if you're using the default setting with a night sky blue mode turned on. If we compare that to the other three bluish tones quite obviously cast on the night sky there, from this to this was actually how it looked like on that cloudy night. So at least now you'll be able to switch between the two modes, having a yellowish original tone, or maybe you'll prefer that bluish tone to the night sky. In my opinion, as long as we're getting an option there, it's always better to have choices, though for color reproduction, saturation, sharpness of the image, and noise reduction, those will be depending on which phone you will be getting in the end. Alright, and this is a real highlight of this video. We'll be comparing video quality across these four phones. Again, from daytime to low light, in particular skin tone rendering. In this particular video we have here, it was sort of in a backlight kind of situation. Right, first and foremost, the Galaxy tends to boost color saturation as well as skin tone brightness. The video output there in the end will look a little bit sharper than the rest of the competition, while here on the Vivo and the Oppo, you will be getting true-to-life colors and HDR effect here as well, and that's a video captured in Dolby Vision HDR format, color corrected to Rec 709, with no color correction or further color grading at all. Again, here on the Galaxy, you will be getting that slightly bluish or cooler tone to its videos, with that ever so slightly boosted colors and contrast, as well as the slightly elevated skin tone, which could be brighter to look at. Now, why not just put them to the ultimate test? In a moment, I'll be standing between the observation wheel and the phone, and I'll be facing the shadows with a little bit of help of the flashlight. Now, you will be getting very true-to-life colors on the Oppo, and that also comes with essentially no skin smoothing effect at all. Now, here on the Vivo and the Galaxy, skin texture has been slightly smoothened out, while you will be getting that elevated skin tone, brightened up skin tone there on the S25 Ultra. And again, true-to-life color reproduction there on the iPhone. However, when it comes to low-light videography as well as photography in fact, the lens flare issue there on the iPhone still presents even up to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So if you're pointing your phone to a strong and direct light source at night, the Vivo X300 Pro, Oppo Find X9 Pro as well as the Galaxy will handle that lens flare issue better than the iPhone. Now, for long-range zoom, low-light video recording, we've done an extensive test last time, though we cannot simply ignore the test if we intend to pick one absolute best phone for video recording in all kind of situation. Oh, and it's just worth mentioning that the videos we have here were shot without the teleconverter on the Vivo and the Oppo. Alright, hope you enjoyed the music. Now it's just worth mentioning the S25 Ultra is indeed a 1-year-old device, so we'll definitely do another test on the S26 Ultra and comparison as well when it's eventually out early next year. Now moving on to 4K 120, you've got that support on the main camera as well as a telephoto lens on the Vivo and the Oppo. Now here on the Galaxy S25 Ultra is the exactly opposite. You will be getting main camera and ultra wide-angle lens support for 4K 120. And last but not least, you will be getting 4K 120 support on the main camera only on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So on the Vivo and the Oppo, you'll be able to shoot 4K 120 slow motion video on the telephoto lens with a more cinematic look to it. While here on the Galaxy, you will be getting a wider field of view with the ultra wide-angle lens there. Alright, so this is another highlight of this video. Now, which phone, or actually which brand, has the best AI for photo editing? So we've got the same photo on all these four phones, and we'll be using the default cleanup, magic eraser, object eraser, whatever they're calling it. Now let's start off with the easiest one of the few upcoming tests. Now look, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, Vivo X300 Pro and the Oppo Find X9 Pro all did a really great job removing everyone on the background. But if you really have to pick one, the crown goes to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Now, the photo we have here this time around, the challenge me is that the passerby is overlapping with a metal wire fence. And the crown goes to… let's take a deeper look before we make that conclusion. You are actually getting really true to life and accurate rendering here on the Vivo, Oppo and the Galaxy as well. Though if we look a little bit closer at the water bottle there, right, the photo generated by the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is still the one that others might not be able to tell that's AI enhanced at one glance. Now, when it comes to magic eraser that's involving facial structure, we all know that it simply doesn't work on the iPhone, while here on the Oppo, it's actually interesting to see that they're actually following the footstep of Apple. They simply wouldn't allow us to remove objects that's covering facial structure. While here on the Vivo X300 Pro, the feature works, though the image it generated, I wouldn't say is a pass. Now, Galaxy AI is still the king when it comes to object eraser, particularly removing objects that are covering your face or even your hand. Right, so before we jump to the final verdict, we have two more sets of comparison photos here. In general, with the built-in photo editing tools, the AI eraser on the Galaxy, the Vivo and the Oppo are actually so good that after removing me in the frame, it's like turning a portrait photo into a pure scenery landscape photo. Though again, if we really have to pick one, the Galaxy and the Oppo are actually the top dog here. Alright, so the final one we have here is that the passerby, in this case it was me, so it's not only overlapping with the sand, the ocean waves with all these light reflection from the bridge, but also the stone groin structure. Now the texture of all these three elements are generated perfectly on the image generated by the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Alright, now AI expansion. Which brand is doing generative expand the best? Now here on the Vivo, you can actually move your original field of view across the expanded area with a maximum expansion of 200%. Now on the Galaxy S25 Ultra that's running One UI 8.0, the AI expansion there may not be working identically to what you will be getting on Photoshop or maybe even on the Vivo X300 Pro. There's actually a small trick you can do here with the Galaxy. Right, sliding the tilted horizon fixer here. You will be getting the largest AI-generated area with positive or negative 6 degrees, and by doing that for a couple of times, you will be getting a similar AI-generative expand feature here on the Galaxy. Now, in terms of generative expand, here on the S25 Ultra, for this particular photo, it's not generating the missing part of the human face, while here on the Vivo, you will be getting that generative expand feature with less limitations. Now that's definitely not photography, but it could be fun to play with. Now here's the feature that's available across Samsung, Vivo and Oppo. So now that's a photo downloaded from Google Photos backup. So this particular one we've got here is actually just 2 megapixels and it's heavily compressed. So the AI upscaling, remastering, whatever they're calling it again, they all actually did a pretty great job in eliminating the compressed look, artifacts look, that's ruining the original photo. You will be getting that extra bit of sharpness here. Now we will be seeing some extra bit of Galaxy AI power here. There's actually a feature that allows us to turn an ordinary non-portrait mode photo into a photo that looks like one. Simply swipe up. Now click onto the background blur feature. It's using all kinds of algorithms to separate the main subject from the background. Now you can select from 0 to 7 levels of background blur. Now look, it's not a simple background blur effect based on circle or oval shape. It's intelligently detecting the main subject, then generated an image that looks like a photo taken in portrait mode. Oh, and speaking of portrait, here on the Vivo X300 Pro, you've got the extra night portrait feature here in the photo editor. And there's a similar AI Portrait Glow feature there on the Oppo Find X9 Pro. Now, the two images generated by these two different features are indeed not exactly the same. That night portrait feature there on the Vivo X300 Pro is actually rebalancing the lighting and the exposure of the entire image. While here on the Oppo Find X9 Pro, the AI Portrait Glow feature, well, they are pretty accurate about the name here, is literally glowing up the face only. Now, moment of truth, which brands got the absolute best AI power at the moment, we'll put them all to the test. Oh, and all of them are running the latest software build. We have OS 6 on the Vivo X300 Pro, ColorOS 16 on the Oppo Find X9 Pro, One UI 8 on the S25 Ultra, and the latest iOS 26.1 on the iPhone. Now, the Oppo is the only one here in this comparison that doesn't support call recording, as well as call recording transcription. So here on the iPhone, the Galaxy and the Vivo, they all actually works pretty much the same in terms of the call recording and call recording transcription. While here using the built-in voice recorder voice memo app, now the Oppo is talking again, you will be able to record a voice memo on all four of these, transcribing the audio track, then further generating a transcript summaries. That's not a problem at all. Now, they all work pretty much the same and perform pretty much the same, so we're not going to spend a decade talking about that. There's one feature that's separating the Galaxy S25 Ultra here from the competition, is that for summarizing and translating web content, Samsung's built-in browser is truly standing out here. So it's got the ability to translate a web page, then summarize a translated web page and read that aloud all at once.
Fan Club pre-sale starts at 8 PM on June 10th, and general ticket sales begin at 8 PM on June 11th.
Now, the native Safari browser on the iPhones also got the summary feature, and that can also summarize a translated web page as well. So the only difference here may be the built-in Chrome browser on the Vivo and the Oppo doesn't support native summary feature, but there it comes, Google Gemini. The summarize page feature is now really intelligent up to this point. You can perform a similar web page translation, then summarize a translated web page and reading that aloud as well.
The concert will be held on November 21st, 2025, Friday.
Oh, and speaking of Google Gemini, that tight integration of an AI-powered voice assistant that can actually tap into the system-level control. Right, so I'm having a flight that's departing at 10 PM tonight. What time shall I leave my current location if I'm traveling there by public transport, and set an alarm when I absolutely have to get going? Alright, so we'll be comparing the iPhone to the rest of the competition again. If the rumor of they will be integrating Google Gemini to their next iPhone next year as well turns out to be true. But at the moment here on the Oppo, Vivo and Galaxy, all suggest a time that I have to be at the airport if I intend to catch the flight. Connected to Google Maps directly suggested a real-time, accurate transportation time from my current location to the airport. Now, that's what actually blew my mind away. I was specifically requesting public transport, and I can confirm that route is correct. It further calculated the exact time that I have to absolutely get going to arrive at the airport on time, and at last they've all set an alarm to remind me to leave my place. Doing all that with just one voice command. That could be the future of mobile phone in my opinion. Now, there are still some good news for the iPhone in the meantime. You have your preview app there on iOS 26 which can read PDF and even allow us to edit it. Now, that was previously exclusive to Samsung, that we can summarize and translate a PDF. Now, that exact feature is now available on all Vivo, Oppo and iPhone. Maybe the only feature that's separating the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra from the rest of the competition now, in terms of editing a PDF, is that S Pen. So now, let's hope Samsung won't be taking that out from the Galaxy in the future. Now, I know it's quite a long video, and I truly appreciate it if you're still watching here. And here we have our standard battery life test. So that will be based on 50% of screen brightness, playing back streaming YouTube videos for 1 hour, scrolling through Facebook or Instagram for another hour, and at last I played League of Legends Wild Rift for another hour on all 4 of them. Now that's altogether 3 hours of media consumption on each of them. Now we're comparing a massive, humongous 7500 mAh battery on the Oppo Find X9 Pro to the roughly 4800 mAh battery here on the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and you will be getting roughly about 5000 mAh if you're talking about the eSIM only version. Now, the Vivo boasts a 6500 mAh, also massive battery, and at last, the S25 Ultra features a standard 5000 mAh battery. Again, that's a 1-year-old phone. Now, I'm not sure how, but according to this test, they are actually performing really close to the iPhone 17 Pro Max, as well as the 1-year-old S25 Ultra. So Apple and Samsung are really doing a really great job in optimizing that battery. Though if you're a serious gamer, the Vivo and the Oppo, due to the obviously massive battery capacity, you will be getting a longer screen on time for pure gameplay sessions. It's been a long video, and we've basically shown actual photos and videos taken with these phones. Now we've also got the battery life test and AI comparison as well, with all these factors taken into account. So this year, both the Oppo and the Vivo are becoming a more all-rounded flagship. Well, again, don't forget the S26 Ultra, the upcoming Xiaomi 17 series, and the Honor Magic 8 Pro. And that would be another ultimate comparison video, so don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned. See you next time.